India's largest convention for the food and beverage sector took place in the national capital on 23rd and 24th of May this year. Brainchild of Industry Live, the Food Connoisseurs India Convention 2022 was presented by Diageo Bar Academy, Raising the Bar. It was powered by Gupshup and held in association with Restaurant.Store, Cat Salt and Spices and Food Service India. The convention, supported by NRAI, the voice of the Indian restaurant industry, hosted more than 65 top F&B stalwarts who talked about the latest trends, new age setups, the gap between the local and urban food sector, brand and capacity building, cloud kitchens, the pet food industry, nightlife, and a lot more related to the food business. A networking haven, the convention offered opportunities to interact with more than 1,500 industry stakeholders. The convention kick-started with the inaugural address by Mr. Anurag Katriyar, Trustee NRAI, Voice of the Indian Restaurant Industry, and Founder and Managing Director, Indigo Hospitality Private Limited. The most decorated leaders of the F&B industry shared their thoughts on the post-pandemic outlook, upcoming trends, brand awareness, organic food, and much more. The convention also saw the unveiling of the Jewels of Food and Beverage India Coffee Table Book, a one-of-its-kind book showcasing unforgettable journeys of industry veterans and restaurants.
In my view, in the post-pandemic world, probably this jolt has told us, वापस do the business dil se. Excel is an outcome of what you do. Excel cannot be really driving our business. Numbers are an outcome of the process. Numbers are an outcome of what you do. It cannot become the base point of what you do today.
The food and beverage industry underwent numerous hardships during the pandemic, with restaurants being one of the last ones to open their doors. However, after reorienting the existing business models, the industry was quick to bounce back, that too in a whole new avatar. A lot of new models and methodologies have been brought into place while keeping the core values intact. With the Food Connoisseurs India Convention, we intend to bring the gurus of this industry under one roof to deliberate on the changing rules of the business and to help plan the next course of action.
Affair with food started with things which arouse your desire, stoke your appetites, and I think that is what stories do about food. They whet up your appetite. You make certain foods aspirational. Food tells us something about ourselves. Why do we like one particular kind of food? Why does it appeal to us? Is there a DNA of taste? How do you acquire taste? How do you actually start eating pate foie gras rather than kakori kebab? People suddenly in middle age, when they make money, they acquire a taste for golf, cigars, single malts, and younger ladies, which Epstein found out. But that we shall not get into. But you know, these desires and the hungers and appetites are common to food and sex, and that is what I think makes all stories about food so fascinating. So when you create food, you try to express yourself. That is a storytelling. When somebody treats you to some delicacy, there is a backstory to the delicacy and whole civilizational connections come up.
Food, beverage, hospitality service is something that cannot be an overnight success. There are people who have done brilliantly well. There were three very iconic people talking about the industry. Talk to them. It's not an overnight success. They've spent a whole lot of time developing their trade, falling in love with it, even when they had to fight for it.
There's price elasticity is a very real thing in India. You increase prices, you will see covers and tickets go down. Indians are very value conscious and very value focused. They appreciate, you can charge, if they see value in something that's worth 10 lakhs, they'll easily pay for it. But they won't even pay 1,000 for something that they see no value in. So it's very important to understand the psyche of the consumer.
They have met with the nightmares of London, they've met with the nightmares of Berlin, they've met with the nightmares of Tokyo. They see that every country, every city is really now trying to focus on nighttime economy, because not only does it bring you revenue, not only does it give you soft power, it brings you tourism and it makes your city safer. It provides a lot of employment, and they know that bars really support a huge ecosystem.
Nightlife is not alcohol. You know, there is a bustling nightlife in Ahmedabad, which is a dry city, and people who've seen the nightlife there in terms of food and beverage without alcohol is pretty cool. Nightlife is also all about, you know, going out on religious events where through the night people revel around religious communities in order to have food and beverage. So it really doesn't need alcohol from that perspective.
Package it in a way which is then in presentable in a slightly more modern approach rather than changing the spirit of the dish. So carry the dish in its own spirit, carry the spice, carry the ingredients, carry the technique internationally, and then do something that makes it more, I'm not saying make it either spicy or less spicy based on where we are, because you know we've always had this thing that, oh, when you come to India the same food is spicy, and when you have to go with the same restaurant to Sydney, London, Singapore, you have to tone it down or put sugar in your butter chicken. That was how the industry was always divided, and I think that was very petty and middle class approach towards food, and also you undermine your guests and their intelligence.
Yes.
Right.
A wise restaurant owner is going to be talking about a certain number of dishes on the menu. The science here is that it should be makeable, not just marketable. It should be consistent. It shouldn't be wasting anything. It should be of the right cost. So there's a lot of science behind a menu plan or menu engineering.
Trend is how much you, as the promoter of the business, today if I'm a bartender and if I believe in making a great old-fashioned or a bar where I only serve classic cocktails that has been there for the last 150 years, I need to believe in what I'm doing. The day I believe that my product is going to be the new trend for this city, it's going to work. And that's going to be the trend.
So Raising the Bar was a program that we envisaged and partnered many of you who are in the room with, and we committed 75 crores at a time when the headlines were looking like this. You know, how it impacted jobs, how it impacted communities. And we actually deep dived and we said that whatever is going to be cost to on-trade and bars and restaurants as they wanted to stand back on their feet, we will step in and we will help and we will shoulder. What our commitment was to stand together with the bar community in this crisis, and the right measures came in with things like sanitizer, which was pretty normal and looks like, oh my God, sanitizer. But there was a time when most of our cities and most of us was scramping for hygiene products and medicines. We even did something very, very unique. We provided health insurance against COVID and many other things to the bartender community. Best of the best in the industry are committing to come back, to bounce back, and doing it the right way. You will see consumers coming back. So it was really fantastic to work together, to collaborate, and sit together and do what Diageo does best, which is to celebrate life every day, everywhere.
One way to increase revenues through technology is directly. You know, when a customer walks in or a customer opens your app, then you try and get the customer to find what they really want as fast as possible, leading to a faster revenue. The other thing is, you know, can technology allow you to have better forecasting, which leads to lower stockouts, and that essentially leads to better revenues.
70% of our revenue comes from loyal customers. The more you can delight them, the more they repeat with you. So the way we look at it is technology should not just be for the heck of doing technology. It should be to really add value to the customer journey.
Many within the restaurant and food service industry lack access to any structured leadership development. Surprisingly, in India, even the global chains, there is not really any adequate structured mentoring of bright young people in organizations. The cost of leadership development is very high for individuals to do directly. So we therefore have found that there is a gap in the market for doing Gleam.
Then people will search for you irrespective, because end of the day they're just distributors, right? They are like an Amazon or Flipkart, you're buying a Samsung or an iPhone, right? So they want the iPhone, then whether they buy it on the platform or offline, it doesn't matter. But if you're just something that they want to buy, they're thinking, say, of buying a masala dosa, and they're not sure where do they want to buy it from. Then if you're not present there, then you're out of mind.
For you to be where your customers are, I mean, all of us have a very heavy dependency on the aggregators currently. But what we believe is that since we have these 30 messaging channels that you guys can leverage upon to reach out to your customers, so if your customer is on WhatsApp, we make sure that you have your solutions available on WhatsApp. If they're on Instagram, We've got solutions out there. If they're on Facebook, anywhere these guys are, we will make sure that we give you enough digitized expertise for you to reach out to your customers out there and get the commerce through.
The approach is that, you know, you don't go to the franchisees, let the franchisee come to you. That is a right approach, I would say. Because when they come to you, they are coming to you because they value your brand.
What happens in the future of any industry, that is get determined by the kind of consumers you are looking at. Because consumers keep evolving, consumers keep changing, and when the consumers start to change, that's how industry started shaping. When we start to deal with Generation G, they have very different traits, and we need to be future ready for them.
Industry in India is still ordering offline. 92% of the market is still 92% of the market doesn't use any kind of inventory management stack, right? Very few people understand how they can bring actionable insights from the 8% who are using any kind of digitization on the inventory side, right? So that's a lot of work to be done.
Secondly, हम जब food walks करते हैं, मतलब मुझे याद है जब 2010 में मुझे 12 साल हो गए food walks करते हुए, तो ये सवाल हमेशा हर प्लेटफॉर्म पे पूछा जाता है कि आप फॉरेनर्स को होस्ट करते हैं तो क्या ध्यान रखते हैं. हमारा 99% क्लाइंटेल फॉरेनर्स ही है और अभी तक 12 सालों में आज तक ऐसा कोई कंप्लेन नहीं मिली कि कोई स्ट्रीट फूड खाने से कोई भी फॉरेन टूरिस्ट की तबीयत खराब हुई हो. तो मुझे लगता है कि स्ट्रीट फूड ज़्यादा सेफ है.
The Food Connoisseurs India Awards 2022 began with a keynote address by widely acclaimed academician, food critic and historian Padma Shri Dr. Pushpesh Pant. More than 190 awards were presented at the grand ceremony amidst media and 800 plus industry veterans.
I had a very firm belief that food is a business that is recession proof, and somewhere I got scared in the first lockdown that, oh my god, restaurants are closing, food is not working. It took that dip of 6-8 months and it bounced back, whether it was food that was being cooked at home and delivered, whether it was the rise of dark kitchens, or whether it was the restaurants bouncing back, kind of reconfirming what I believed in, that food is recession proof. It's just the way we treat food or interact with food changes.
So I think this post-COVID, restaurants and hotels are seeing a definitive new norm. We talked about new norms, but we are seeing a definitive new norm that people are coming out more often now. They're spending more. They want to eat more. So I think the whole restaurant industry is coming back with a vengeance. I was talking to Chef Sanjeev Kapoor a few days back, and he did mention these words that, the restaurant industry will come back with a vengeance. I think that's what we are seeing. So, all the restaurateurs out there, don't lose hope. I think there is enough and more pies to be baked for everyone. So just keep doing the good work.
I think we are now bouncing back. The worst is behind us. And I think going forward, once again the joy of restauranting is going to come back into the vogue.
I think this convention is absolutely fabulous. It's a great platform for the industry people to get together, for people that are wanting to get into the industry to learn from some of the stalwarts. I think the selection of topics and issues are very pertinent. They're very up to date, and they are basically information that people would like to know before they get into this fabulous industry of ours. So this is a great platform, and I wish them all the best.
Competition helps you grow up, because if you do not have competition, you'll never have market forces. Consumer is the king, and if you do not have competition, you'll never actually deliver a better customer experience. Competition is the best thing.
The going out culture now is not any more occasion based, and people want to go out every day. It's a great mix of experience they want to have, involving a good combination of food and alcohol beverage and music, and the kind of experience as restaurateurs, as cafes, as bars we have able to give them, creating an ecosystem which is very safe for them to dine out and have experience and have disciplined drinking also.
Yes, the session that I had talked about, bringing regional Indian cuisine to the forefront, and not just in India, but how we can, emphasize on this aspect and also, expose it to different parts of the world. Also, in this way, we can support the local economy and also sustainable dining. So it was a very good panel discussion that we had, and I think that the guests had a good time.
I feel that yes, very true. COVID has driven our industry into almost a well. So our industry had suffered a lot. But I feel that the best part, if we see today, then this industry has just jumped, and it's a boom right now. And coming 4 to 5 years, I'm just looking that food industry is gonna drive like anything, and it is gonna be just amazing.
Basically, you see, we are a CPaaS company, or in a sense, we are a messaging company. This is what we specialize in. This is the pain point which we want to address for the entire F&B industry. The power of conversational messaging is something that everyone is aware of, and the importance is growing. So, like we had mentioned earlier, we have 30 plus communication channels that we would like the industry to leverage, reach out to the customers, to retarget them, to give them a personalized experience. And with our recent acquisitions and a lot of NLP bots coming in, there are very exciting times ahead in terms of voice solutions, AI bots. So we look forward to it. We're quite excited.
Cafes, restaurants, even cloud kitchens, they are going they are not now worried about spending money on the equipment. Equipment are upgrading, the machineries are upgrading. Many foreign brands who have developed good equipment wants to enter India. So the market is huge. There will be a very drastic upgradation of equipment in the near future in the restaurant and cafe industry.
If I look at the whole opportunity, for me the challenges are of course there, and the challenges would be dealt as it comes up. But what is exciting to me is the whole opportunity that is unfolding. So if you look at the growth of the food industry from where I come, within the FMCG space, I represent the food business part. So it is just booming. Right. So my point is, the challenges, with every growth there would be a challenge. Having said that, the most important piece is the growth itself is there, and the outlook for the next 2, 3, 5 years is absolutely very high.
I think COVID has also been a bad thing, but also a blessing in disguise for some. A lot of restaurants are now reinventing themselves, right? Earlier there were a lot of models and concepts which worked 10 years back, but today the same models and concepts may not work. So I think technology is really playing a very vital role in the entire food space. I think a lot of cloud kitchens have come up. A lot of talent has come to the forefront. I think convenience has become key. So definitely restaurants have reinvented themselves. Even the menu has been reinvented. The entire ambience experience, everything in the post-COVID world has been reinvented. However, one thing which remains constant is the food quality, service and experience that restaurants keep providing, and that will always be a constant.
I have won the award in the Best Home Baker of the Year category. I've been baking for the past 10 years, and recognition like this really encourages you and makes you feel that yes, you are doing something in the right direction and you would want to go further from here. So my brand, the name of my brand is Kapolicious. I'm from Bangalore, so as of now doing this from home itself, and I do plan to expand it to a studio in a short while from now.
We serve the world cuisine, and seafood has been our strength since we are from Goa. But apart from that, we also serve a very good vegetarian cuisine. We understood that there is a requirement when you go to the different places of India, there will be places where the people are vegetarian, where the people, they eat red meat. So we have taken care of all that factors. And if you see our menu, it's very interesting menu. It takes you a feel of Goa. At the same time, it gives you the regional cuisine also for that place.
We began our journey about 2 years ago, but then the lockdown happened. So we had to, move the launch back. So it's been about a year. We completed 1 year in January this year. And it's been a great experience, and it's one of the biggest open area property in India, actually, not in central India just. And our main vision, our focus was to actually have yummy delicious food, not just delicious but yummy delicious food, great experiences, and a superb open, full with nature ambience. So yeah, that's the property. You have to visit once to experience this, to be honest.
This is all my team effort. Everyone plays their role, so we got about it. We want to expand it to 2 cities in next 2 years. We will be focusing on tier 2 and tier 3 cities.
Now we are a huge brand. We only started with one outlet, and in pandemic we worked on our franchisee plan, and that is how we expanded. It is a great honor for us to receive this award. It is like really great feeling, and we feel blessed for this award, and we hope that we get these awards in coming years also.